Hey, it's Soul, with news, updates, analyses, etc. And I've been on the alpha for a while. I've made a couple of max level characters and have messed with most of the game systems. With a little bit more research, I could probably write up a detailed guide on how to optimize your early experience in Legion. But I'm not, especially because we're still 4 months away from launch, but I can go over some general tips for when you're out there on the Broken Isles. Legion, like every other expansion, has a lot of the same stuff. You level, you gear, and you do whatever you like go to dungeons, do raids, start PvPing, any of that stuff. But there have been some big changes and additions to point out that justify these kinds of tips in the first place. I'm going to go over them throughout the video, so let's get started. As soon as you complete your starting experience on the Broken Shore and then complete your first artifact quest, you can choose which zone you want to go to first. For most of the non-gathering professions, I suggest starting in Aszuna. Legion professions involve questing in a pretty big way, and they typically direct you to go to Aszuna first. Eventually you'll end up traveling to each island in order to complete your recipe list. Heck, you'll end up doing a lot of content to complete this list anyway, including maxing reputations and even raiding. But if you want to get a bit of a head start, kick it off in Aszuna. For everyone else, don't go to Aszuna. A bunch of players are going to be going there, so going somewhere else might be a good idea. In my opinion, High Mountain's branching quest lines will give you the most options on where to go, so if one area looks like it's a bit too crowded, you can take on other quest lines in the zone, or use the realm hopping add-on if it still works by the time Legion goes live. For the gatherers, I suggest you complete your quests sooner rather than later. When picking herbs or mining or skinning, you're going to get these breadcrumb quests that you're better off turning in sooner rather than slacking off. Turning these in will give you an upgrade to your gathering mastery, which will get you more resources per node, so turn these in at your closest opportunity. Flight points have gotten pretty convenient in Legion. If you take a look at this map, you'll notice these gray dots. These are flight points that haven't been unlocked yet. The notion of not having flight points connected to each other doesn't happen anymore in the Broken Isles. It just acts as a waypoint until you discover it. That said, try not to get accustomed to using flight points to get around, at least not early on. There's a lot of rare mobs, gathering nodes, and treasures that you're likely to overlook. Exploring these in-between areas will contribute to the Pathfinder meta as well. If you have odds, get them to a minimum item level of 680. Tuning's still going on, but currently alpha characters start at this item level, and some of the starting artifact quests can get a little hairy. Use every cheap advantage you can get, including the legendary ring and heirloom trinkets. If you can help it, use your map less. While you're questing, you don't want to just point your character in the direction of the objective and gun it. There's a high probability that you'll pass by a lot of stuff. Aside from how cool and detailed the Broken Isles look, there's treasure hiding all over the place. It doesn't have that Warlords of Draenor feel. You're not going to be doing any tightroping across buildings or any excessive climbing. It's as easy as turning left instead of right. Search a small building or a cave. Look under that ledge or behind the quest mob you just killed. It's that much easier. And rares are dotted all over the place, with drops that, from what I've seen, are usually set for your class and spec. They scale to your level and can be bind on equip too. Finding treasure is going to feel a lot more natural in Legion, so play naturally. Explore. You're rewarded for doing it. Or avoid all the rares and treasures till max level. All these things can drop gear for a level 100 or 110 character. It just depends on what level you happen to be at the time. Personally, I don't think it's optimal, but hey, knock yourself out if you want. There's no need to rush. Trust me, there really is no need to rush. The race to getting to max level, it ain't what it used to be. That is, reaching 110 doesn't mean you just drop what you're doing and immediately start progressing to like dungeon heroics and beyond. In earlier expansions, this was a standard practice because it's the most efficient route to take. I mean, why do leveling quests for crappy gear to vendor, right? In Legion though, that's not really the case. At 110, every quest on the Broken Isles is considered a max level quest, including gear rewards that can have that random item level upgrade. On top of that, we now know that completing all quest lines will take us closer to having that faster mount speed in the Broken Isles, as well as going for the Pathfinder meta. A lot does open at 110, including heroic dungeons, Suramar, raids, and world quests. What's different though is that quests aren't just a thing to leave behind anymore. Speaking of Suramar, take your time with it, especially if you're the type who wants to power up quickly. Suramar questline doesn't offer rewards like the other islands do. I mean, there is gear and artifact power to be found and some crafting materials, but if you want to maximize your artifact power gain, you're better off saving Suramar for after you've completed pretty much all your other quests. Don't sweat over the order hall missions. Progressing your champions is a really slow process. You don't want to have the mindset of power leveling your champions as fast as you are. There aren't any short mission durations, and this time around the rewards are more relative to the gameplay you put into it, as in, it's not a big deal to skip. Use the table for the Order Hall campaign to unlock your artifact weapon quests, and if you have a useful champion, take them with you while questing because they're pretty nifty. But when you see that a mission is complete, you don't have to drop everything and head back to your table. In Legion, Order Halls are hardly your biggest priority. Order Hall research, though, is pretty important. Keep the Order Hall research going constantly. You have this order advancement tree that offers some pretty nifty benefits, including the ability to increase the number of legendary things you can wear from 1 to 2. Ooh. Each level of research takes up a pretty large amount of Order Hall resources and time, with each level requiring more and more of each. You basically want to acquire resources faster than it takes to complete each research level, and hold on to some excess in case you want to change your research later on. While you're out and about, you probably want to kill almost everything you can see. Arguably, the biggest source of artifact power is going to be coming from the things that you kill. If you see an opportunity to kill a bunch of stuff easily, take it. You want every drop of AP you can get. In I think every zone there are 110 elites here and there, sometimes in the middle of busy areas, so watch your back. When possible, group up a lot. Artifact power is a personal drop, so there's no harm in getting a buddy or 4 and going scorched earth on like everything that moves. But even if you're not in a group, if you see a friendly player fighting, help him out anyway. In Legion, up to 5 players can tap the same mob, and all 5 of you will have an opportunity to loot or get kill credit if you're questing. And that's it. Hopefully you enjoyed the video and maybe something in there will help you out. If you got questions or comments, leave them below, otherwise like and sub if you want to see more of my stuff. And I'll see you guys next time when I go over what's up with Protection Paladins since it's been a while. I'm Soul. Stay breezy, guys.